You walk through the door, drop your bag, and before you do anything else, before dinner, before conversation, before even changing your clothes, you just need nothing. Not TV, not scrolling, not talking, just stillness. Maybe you sit in your car for a few extra minutes before going inside. Maybe you lock the bathroom door and just breathe. And the whole time, there's this quiet voice in the back of your head asking, why can't I just be normal? Why does a regular day take so much out of me? Well, here's the truth. That need isn't a flaw. And by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly what your brain has been trying to tell you. You might think that feeling, that heaviness after work, means something is wrong with you, that you're too sensitive, too drained, too much. But psychology tells a very different story. You're not broken. You're not weak. You process the world differently. And that changes everything. Here's what most people don't realize about a regular workday. The exhaustion you feel, it doesn't come from the tasks, not really. There's a concept called cognitive load theory, originally developed by educational psychologist John Sweller, and it describes how your working memory, the part of your brain that holds and processes information in real time, has a hard limit. Think of it like the RAM on a computer. Every decision you make, every conversation you navigate, every notification you respond to, that's another tab open, and most of us never close any of them. We just keep opening more. By the time 5 o'clock hits, your brain isn't just tired, it's overloaded. The system didn't crash, but it's running on fumes. And here's the part nobody tells you. Some brains run more tabs than others, not because they're inefficient, because they process more deeply. So when you come home feeling like you've run a marathon even though you sat at a desk all day, you're not being dramatic. Your brain genuinely used more energy than you realize. That exhaustion is real, it's earned, and it deserves to be respected. There's a trait that researchers have been studying for over 2 decades now, and it might explain everything. Psychologist Elaine Aron identified something called sensory processing sensitivity, a trait found in roughly 15 to 20% of the population. People with this trait don't just experience the world, they absorb it. Every sound, every shift in someone's tone, every flicker of fluorescent lighting, it all gets processed at a deeper level. Imagine 2 radios sitting side by side. One picks up 3 stations, the other picks up 30. Same room, same signals, completely different experience. That's what a workday feels like for someone with high sensitivity. The coworker who barely notices the background chatter, their radio is tuned to 3 stations. Yours is pulling in every frequency in the building. That doesn't make you fragile. That makes you finely tuned. But it also means that by the end of the day, your nervous system has absorbed significantly more input. And it needs time, real, uninterrupted time, to discharge all of it. You're not antisocial for wanting that quiet. You're not cold for choosing silence over socializing. You're doing exactly what your biology is asking for. Now layer something else on top of that. At work, most of us aren't just doing our jobs, we're performing. Sociologist Arlie Hochschild called this emotional labor, the act of managing your outward expressions to fulfill the expectations of a role. You smile in meetings when you're drained. You match someone's energy when yours is already spent. You hold space for a coworker's frustration when your own cup is empty. It's like running 2 programs simultaneously. One is doing the actual work. The other is performing the version of you that the workplace expects. And that second program? It's a resource hog. It drains you in ways that don't show up on a task list. So when you get home and someone asks, "What did you do today?" and you can't even explain why you're so tired, this is why. The tasks may have been manageable, but the performance, that cost you something. And the fact that you carried both all day without anyone noticing, that's not weakness, that's an invisible kind of strength. Ever notice how you're completely fine for hours, and then suddenly, you're not? Like a switch flips. You were managing, you were present, you were engaged, and then, without warning, you're done. This isn't random. Psychologists call it the Yerkes-Dodson curve, the idea that your performance and well-being rise with stimulation, but only to a point. After that point, everything drops. Think of a glass sitting under a slow faucet. For most of the day, the water rises and you don't even notice it, drop by drop, interaction by interaction. But the glass doesn't overflow gradually. It hits the rim and spills all at once. That moment, when you suddenly can't take one more question, One more ping. One more D. Oh, you have a second? That's not you being impatient. That's your threshold. And there's nothing wrong with having one. Everyone does. Yours might just arrive sooner because you were processing more the entire time. It's not about stamina. It's about input volume. So what does your brain actually need during that decompression window? Neuroscience research on the default mode network gives us a clue. When you stop focusing on external tasks and let your mind wander, or simply go quiet, a network of brain regions activates. This network is responsible for self-reflection, memory consolidation, and emotional processing. It's essentially your brain's way of organizing everything it took in during the day. Think of it like defragmenting a hard drive. The data is all there, but it's scattered. Your brain needs idle time to sort it, file it, and make sense of it. That's why the silence after work doesn't feel empty. It feels necessary. You're not doing nothing. Your brain is doing some of its most important work. And when someone interrupts that window, when they need you to talk, to decide, to be present for someone else right away, it can feel almost physically jarring. Not because you don't care, but because the process got interrupted. That quiet time isn't avoidance, it's maintenance, and you are allowed to protect it. But here's the part that might hit the hardest. A lot of people who need decompression time already know they need it. The problem isn't awareness. The problem is permission. Self-determination theory, developed by psychologists Dishi and Ryan, suggests that one of our core human needs is autonomy, the ability to make choices that align with who we actually are. And yet, so many people spend their evenings feeling guilty for not being more available, more social, more energetic. They know what their body needs, but they don't feel allowed to honor it, because somewhere along the way, they learned that rest has to be earned. That quiet is selfish. That if you're not producing, you're wasting time. But here's what needs to be said. You don't need anyone's approval to take care of your own mind. That need for stillness isn't a deficiency in your personality. It's a feature of how you process the world, and honoring it, without guilt, without apology, that's not selfishness. That is self-awareness. So the next time you walk through that door and feel the pull toward silence, don't fight it. Don't explain it. Don't apologize for it. That decompression time is your brain completing the work the day demanded. You're not broken. You're not difficult. You're someone who feels the world at full volume, and you deserve the space to turn it down. If this helped you understand something about yourself, leave a like. And if you want more about the psychology behind why you are the way you are, subscribe. You belong here.